Hi, welcome to this video. So today I'm going to show you how to go about getting North Korea's new version of their desktop operating system. So I came across this talk here, Computer Science in the DPRK, on this particular channel here. I believe it's the KS Computer Club based out of Germany. It is indeed. So I seen this video, this presentation given by a gentleman called Will Scott. He was a college graduate, or I don't know what their terms are at certain levels over there, but he was a college guy, University of Washington, who had seen a documentary on educating North Korea, and I'd actually seen that documentary myself. And he reached out to the people in charge of the university and eventually got over there teaching computer science. So it was interesting, the presentation. I learned in it that North Korea had its own operating system, which I didn't previously know. And in this presentation he does show you what it looks like and some of the features it has and some of the limitations it has. And it looks exactly like Mac OS X. It's Mac 10, OS X 10. It's exactly the same. It looks no different. Now there are some sort of limitations, and DNS being one, but it was interesting to see what they had. So after the presentation, I did have a look around the internet to see, where this operating system was. Surely someone had uploaded the distribution. So I did come across this website here, North Korea Tech. It was one of the first ones that came up, and the author in this particular article here lists the links where you can get it, and then some of the screenshots of how it looks. So if anybody's familiar with OS X loading up, even the bottom bar icons are exactly the same as Mac. Previously what they said was that the earlier versions were based on Windows, and they've switched totally to the Mac look. And here's an example of how it looks. You've got the drawer at the bottom of the icons. You've got this is actually Firefox, not Safari. And you notice as well the URLs are based on IP rather than DNS. I believe that from this presentation here they talked about North Korea having their own top level domains and their own sort of DNS system, which was interesting. And it just gives you a couple of screenshots of how it looks there. So I followed the link there to Pastebin, and that one, sorry. And here's Pastebin. I'll just make it a little bit bigger. So a little bit of description of what it is. RedStar is the name of the operating system. This particular individual who released this here, does it say his name somewhere? It may say his name somewhere. He released previously a server version a while back, and this is clearly the desktop version. And the going price for this, I believe, in North Korea is like 25 cents US dollars, cents, 25 cents. So what I'm going to do is, I've already downloaded it. I use this link here. This is a torrent. And I downloaded the torrent. I double clicked it, and it started to download the operating system. So I do have it downloaded already here. And I'm going to show you the install and walk you through, for the first time, the same as me. So let's have a look. We'll just have a look at the README, see what it says. So the README is more or less what we see on the web page behind. It it's exactly the same. So personally, I'm going to stop the seeding of this for a second. It just automatically seeds after it downloads. Alright. So personally, I'm going to just move the file to my virtual machines folder. A couple of other ones in there. This folder, virtual machines, is just the common folder I use for all my virtual machines. Okay, so I'm not going to install this sort of on the bare metal machine. What I am going to do is I'm going to run it virtually inside a virtual machine. So here I have Vmware Workstation, and you can get VM Player, you can use VirtualBox, it's free. So I'm just going to create a new virtual machine. Okay, I'm going to do, I'll try typical just to see if it picks it up what it is. So I'm going to browse to my virtual machines. I'll try going to the folder, so RedStarOS 3.0, signed, ISO. Of course, it can't detect the features of it, it doesn't know about it. So I'm going to choose it as Apple OS X because it's probably the closest to it. Now, I'm not quite sure if it's a 64-bit OS or not. I haven't got that specification yet, and probably until I look at it in deeper, I'm not really sure. So I'm just going to go with, yeah, I'm going to go with 10.7, and I'll just leave it with 32-bit for now, just to see. And we're going to change this here. Name, it's RedStar. And the location is going to be in there, of course. And disk size, I'm going to use 20. I'm going to use very much. And it recommends 40 for Mac. You know what? I'll put it back to 40 just in case. Just keep it on the safe side. Yeah, that's fine. I customize the hardware a little bit, especially the network. I want this to be host only. I don't want it calling out to the internet for any reason. This way it's just talking to my machine. It's not, doesn't have an outside link. Alright, in terms of CPU, let me have a look. So 2 gigs fine, 1 processor, 1 core, fine. I'll give it 2 cores. Virtualize. Alright, so ready to go. Alright, so we are ready. I'm going to run the virtual machine. So this, you know, if you had this ISO image burned to a CD. Okay, so one of my settings that I chose there is not compatible. I'm just going to change that there. And it seems to be the virtualization. So take off these. And we'll try again. This is the first time I've actually got a hold of it. It's the first time I thought I'd just record this experience to show you. So looks like it's starting up. Okay. So far it looks like it's having some issues here. And let me just check something here. I think let's see. Let it do its thing first and see. So it looks like it tried to start from hard drive, try to start from the, oh, I hit Control and Alt there, so let me see. Okay, I'm gonna just go with continue where we were. So as you can see there, it unsuccessfully tried to boot from the hard drive and its virtual CD-ROM. Now the ISO image I have for this should have been in the virtual CD-ROM, so and it's clearly not going to get a network connection here, as I've got host only. So I'm going to cancel this here and start again. So power off that. And power off. Alright, I'm going to just check that, yeah, so we are using the ISO. I wonder if I put it back to just one processor. Would it make a difference? Now I'm going to turn that virtualization on. So this is a little trial and error, you know. Now there is an install guide here. I believe I click here. So someone who's already done it before. So let's have a look if I have everything right. So 10 gigs, I've allocated 40. They believe it's relatively easy. So okay, so we haven't even got to that start page yet, so let's try again. Speed architect. Alright. I'll run it again. So it's exactly the same. So perhaps then the VM, although it looks Mac based, possibly it's not. Let me just check. some settings here. Okay, so maybe it will work. Maybe we just need to give it a minute or two. I wonder if I might need to change it to something else. You know, I think this one might be set up specifically for Mac. Now I need to choose other. I'll just give it another second just to see if it actually gets past this part here. If not, I'll try a different operating system other than Mac. It'd be nice if it just went ahead. Okay, I'm going to scrap this. Okay, so this will save you when you try this here, not having to face that situation like I did. So let me try and edit the virtual machine and change it to other. And see, does this help at this time? Although it might be based on Debian, although it's a clone of Mac, you know, not quite sure what the kernel is, or any more specs really about it. So, same again there. Okay, so we've been here, we understand that's not going to work. Okay, so it didn't work with Apple, didn't work with other. Let's try Linux. Quite a few versions of Linux, possibly Debian based. Okay, let's try again. Looks like we got the same situation there. And I don't have much faith there. So clearly didn't work with other, clearly didn't work with Linux. So let's have a look what else we can do. I would be very, very surprised if this worked with Windows, but I'm gonna try VMware first, and then I will try Microsoft Windows. Let's just try VMware first. Okay, same again. Just looking through some of the settings to see if there's anything that are relevant. Alright, let's have a go at this. From what I've heard, it is a Linux-based system. So I very much doubt the Windows types could work here. But who knows? Let's see. No, doesn't look like it's going to go again. Okay. Not impressed so far. Alright, shut that down. I'm actually going to shut this down as well. I'm actually going to okay, so there's two folders, and I'm actually going to start again, and I'm going to just go in and delete that. Okay, so they're probably all my different attempts. Okay, delete. This one here working it. Okay, so start again. Clearly, that didn't work. So I'm going to do custom this time. And hardware compatibility, not quite sure. Okay, next. I want to use this. Yep. I'm going to say Linux. I'm going to say Debian Sam. And I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to get dual core. give it 2 gig memory. I'm going to use host only networking. Okay, SCSI controller. Not sure in this one. I'm going to go with recommended. Gonna go with recommended. Create a new one. Alright, so I went with most of the defaults there. So let's try again. Okay, fingers crossed. A little bit of patience. Now I can see on the VMware window it's just slightly below the capture screen that the lights are flashing on the haha. Excellent. Okay. So clearly when I was setting up the VM originally when I chose Mac OS X, it probably had some configuration settings in there. I'm not quite sure why I kept failing. However, you've seen the second time around when I used the Debian, I kept the most of the recommended settings. It was fine. Now, of course, this is in Korean. I don't speak Korean. However, like most OSs and usability, you know, next the whole way until you get there. So there is a installation guide now. So let me just come out of this for a second. Here we are. So I think we've got there. So let me see what it says. Alright, so let's just go and click through these. And I'm going to say yeah. I guess this is yes. So let's see. Okay, so it's asking me to pick a hard disk. Pretty similar feels and looks like a Mac. I guess this is next. Okay, so I'm guessing this is my username. Nope, keyboard. Keyboard doesn't seem to be picking up. Interesting. Or maybe is it Korean keyboard? Interesting. So if I can't type, then there's no point, like, is there? Let me see. Yeah, it's probably because it's Korean. Okay. I'll go back to my my little guide here. Let's see what it tells me. Yeah, we did that. Okay, so this particular user didn't seem to have a problem. Back here again, see. Of course, the help's going to be in Korean, it's going to be no use to me. Let's see if we can do this here. Excellent. Okay, so maybe it's just a little bit slow. I'm guessing this is going to be the password. No. Let me see what the little guide says there. No, so the first one's my name, the second one's my username. Let me see. And then 2 passwords and a reminder. Okay. Okay, it's pretty simple. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Alright, so this is networking settings. So I'm going to just go with DHCP. And if I do eventually want to go online with this, then it'll automatically pick up the IP address that's assigned to it. And I'm going to see what the guide said at this point. So yeah, so he's also went with DHCP since myself. Okay, so DHCP, but nothing more on the screen. Alright, time zone. So clearly North Korea is in there. Well, it doesn't give me much to work with, so let me see where the other ones are. I'm guessing that's somewhere in Russia, is it? That looks like Japan. I'm not quite sure what that one is either. Alright, so I'm just gonna go by the default. I think that was the default. Okay. Does it let me choose? Let me choose. Let me see if let me choose Ireland. No, it doesn't let me choose Ireland, but just gonna have to go with North Korean time zone then. Alright, time. The time is not that. Alright, the date's correct. Time is not. Oh yeah, because this is North Korean time, of course. Of course, it's going to be correct. No, I'm going to go with my local time here. Okay, I'm not quite sure what that says, but I'm guessing it says put the CD in the drive. Let's see what my little guide says. Yeah, so it talks about. He also left the default as Pyongyang. That does say you can choose everything but South Korea. Okay, set the time and date. Ready to install. Alright, so this is just saying ready to install it. Okay, pretty straightforward so far. And there it goes. This is the installation of RedStarOS, the Mac looking based version OS, widely available in North Korea. Now as it's installing, I'll just go through some of the features or some of the limitations as well that came out in that presentation that I watched. So the biggest thing probably is DNS. So don't expect to have full networking features to be used to. There are ways around it, of course, but out of the box, due to North Korea having its own DNS system and its own top-level domain names, everything's slightly different in that respect. Encryption was the interesting one that was brought up in the presentation. So once you install the OS, you have an encryption feature that uses AES encryption and allows you to, sorry, that's just I'm uninstalling some controls here. Apologize, they're uninstalling stuff. So they have this built-in feature that allows you to create an encrypted disk inside the operating system, which I'm not sure is available on Mac OS. Sure, someone can correct me if that is the case, but my experience, I don't think that was there. What else? Of course, it's instead of a Apple Mac OS X App Store, you're not going to have an App Store set essentially on this Mac. I'd be interested to see, and I didn't mention it in the presentation, but I'd be interested to see, is Xcode available on it? Can Xcode be put on it? You know, does it have those kind of same features as you'd expect from a Mac? That's something I'm going to test out once I get it installed, but it wasn't clear there. But you know, look, feel. Yeah, one of the other things that came up in the presentation was by default you don't have root access. You know, so you can't do sudo or su. So that was one interesting thing. You can get it, and there's a way to do it. It was mentioned in the presentation, but by default, I believe you do not have root access. I'd also be interested to see, because of the DNS issues, how you can pull packages, you know, with apt-get and stuff. That I'd like to understand and see, you know, is there a way around that? Does it do it, you know? But it's something to try. And what else? Let me think. So no root access, but you can get it. Localization, of course, you see it in Korean here. I have read a post or two that you can get the localization files, and you can have this also in English. So, you know, security-wise, you know, I have it at host only at the minute, so I'm not going to have it calling out to the internet for test purposes. However, you know, it'd be something to inspect, be something to look at and monitor. Obviously, we don't know, is the distribution compromised? Has anybody put their own stuff in there? So it's just general awareness, security-wise. You know, just keep it off the network, and don't be browsing out without some due diligence, of course. But from reading, the distribution is a complete clone or copy of the legit North Korean desktop operating system. So it's interesting. It's interesting as well that they moved from a Windows-based version to Mac within a version. So that was also interesting. And where, you know, from the other presentation I watched, most of the general public who have access to a computer, they're using either mostly Windows XP, the odd Windows 7 version, and this RedStarOS is used mainly within industry for factory automation. The example was given was that if you are a factory of some description within North Korea and you need some automation and some kind of introduction of software for whatever processes you're doing, you go to this I believe KCI, I believe it was called, I may be wrong there, but this organization, and they will basically give you a customized version of this to suit your factory needs. So I suspect that a lot of the businesses and factories and that kind of in this industrial use is geared around this RedStar operating system, and more the consumer users prefer the Windows-based version. Not to say that consumers don't use this version as well, or not consumers, but the general public, So just a little bit of background while we're waiting to install. So I'm going to go back then while we're waiting to show you some of the links. So yeah, I showed you the presentation on this particular channel. You can scroll down, you'll find it. The guy who went and taught there was Will Scott. And interesting presentation. It's only 33 minutes long. The description, how he taught computer science in Pyongyang for 2 years, I believe just over the fall. Their RedStarOS. So it's a custom Red Hat derived Linux desktop and server environment. So we have the desktop version installing at the minute. Oh, that's my uninstall finishing. I'll get back there. Great. Okay. Apologize. So we have the desktop version. There is a server install available as well. In this presentation, they also talked about the mobile phones that they have there, the tablets they have there. They all have their own. They're running off the mobile technology using Android, but it's a customized Android for the DPRK. They have applications like, for example, Angry Birds there, as a game, but of course they've manipulated it to have different logos and sprites and stuff. So it's certainly Android, but certainly not the Android that most of us would be familiar with. It's certainly customized and restricted in some cases for the local market. So let's see what else it says here. So yeah, RedStar 3.0, that's what we're currently going to be looking at here. He did also demonstrate the Android tablet that he did buy there. Just information about the talk. So that's, if you want to get a background of where I heard and learned about this here, it's here. So this, I just googled this here. I googled RedStarOS. Okay, so you've got a Wikipedia page, you've got this page here, and a couple down. I came across North Korea Tech and an article specifically about it. Why, I don't know why I particularly chose that one. It was probably because of the PC World, Telegraph, BBC, mainly news websites, and of course Wikipedia. So this one seemed of interest, and the first article I hit. It talks about how it was uploaded to BitTorrent on Monday. Now this article doesn't have a time. Let me just get a look at the bottom here. It doesn't actually say. December 30th, 2014. So, December, it's not that long ago. You're talking less than a month away. So yeah, so some screenshots are posted online. Here's the link to Pastebin where you can get the torrent, and then this guy's put together an install guide. So if you get to this article and you click on the message in Pastebin, it will bring you to here, Pastebin, and this little description about it. And all I did was copy the URL, put it into the browser. Put it in the browser, hit enter, and it'll download the file. Okay, so again, it's out of the screen capture, but it's certainly downloading. And when it downloads, if you have a BitTorrent client installed, just double click it, it'll open up, and hit the OK, of course, and it'll start downloading. Then you'll have the image. It's an ISO image. It's around 2.43 gig. One second. So there's nothing really much more there in terms of links. Pastebin, where you get the links, and the install guide, which is pretty useful. As you see, we kept referring back to it there. So that's the links. That's how I got to it. That's how I heard about it. So let's have a look and see where we are with our install. Okay, it looks like it's still going. So rather than have you sit and wait while this installs, I'm just going to pause it here. And when it gets to the end of the install on this particular screen, I'll come back, I'll unpause it and continue with the recording, save you some time. Okay. Alright, so it just got to the end of the progress bar. This is the next screen. It looks like it's pretty fast compared to the last one. We will almost be there. Now there's a button here. It's quite possible it maybe like skip or something, but I'm not going to hit it. I'm just going to let it do its thing. It reboots. Okay. Alright, so I'm guessing this is the bootloader. I'm just going to let it run. Alright, so I'm going to guess, my Korean's not the best, but I'm going to guess this says Red Star. And you have the familiar, if anybody has a Mac, you're familiar with the loader. Now the installation there took probably I'd say 10, possibly 15 minutes there to get through the whole install. It wasn't quick, let's put it that way. I was able to go off and do a few things and come back. So alright, here we go. It's your classic Mac spinner, classic Mac icons. Alright, so this is my username I chose. Looks very much like Mac. Alright, so that's me loading in now. I'm going to just put this full screen. Alright, so it looks like I need to adjust my display a little bit here so I can get it stretched out. Alright, so this is the desktop of RedStarOS from North Korea. So first look to me, it looks like Mac. It's got the toolbar along the bottom, of course. Up in the corner, I guess this is your preferences and stuff like that. And of course, without knowing Korean, I can't describe to you what these are, so we'll just have a look at the menus and see. Okay, and in terms of for my so it's very, it looks like a Mac. That's definitely my processor. Red star. I guess there's going to be more detailed information, I think. It is indeed. Okay, so it's just system information. So what else we got in here? Okay, preferences maybe? System preferences. It is indeed. So even without knowing Korean, you know, if you're familiar with Mac OS X, a lot of this stuff will come naturally. Just 1 second. Apologies. Just had to check something. Alright, so let me see what we got. I wonder if they have a localized version. I'm going to come back to it because it might take me a while to have a look. See what this does. So with the icons, of course, printers, CD, network, sure, folders. So I'm sure you can have a look about there and see what there is. What else we got up here? I can see a little flag flowing here. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. Okay, I'm not quite sure what those icons mean just yet. And of course this is my logged on user. Date time. So I'm gonna click some of these and see what we got. Okay, it's system preferences, what we were there before. I'm guessing this is the internet browser. Let's have a look. Okay, it is indeed classic Firefox there, and I'm sure this is saying you doesn't want to be my default browser. No, and you notice right away that it's defaulting to a particular IP address as opposed to a DNS. You know, so what's on the second page? Nothing. Alright. I wonder if it has any pre-programmed favorites, bookmarks. Not quite. So this looks like a North Korean version of Firefox. Alright, so what else we got? So preferences, browser, video player, calendar, contacts. What's this? I guess this is Finder or Explorer. It is indeed. So as you see, this is classic Mac look here. This is, I guess, the first hard drive. It looks like it has 2 hard drives, or at least 2 partitions. So you've got the Core OS. In fact, it looks like a copy of. I'm guessing this red star here is actually this. So yeah, so I'm guessing this is going to be the network, which is host only, and it's not going to give us much in our home. So terminal, so let's have a look and see, does the search work in this? Okay, so here's the magnifying glass, it's PDF, it says the calculator. Very good. Interesting icons, to say the least. Some of them you can sort of guess what they are. Some's going to need a little bit of translation. interesting to see their mail program and stuff. So there you are. Okay, so this is a music program or for writing music. Interesting. I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna continue on just digging through this here. I'm gonna go look for some language packs and see if I can get this into English and dig into it a little bit more. See what's under the hood in terms of capabilities, things that shouldn't be there, things that are done differently. So there you go. There's a first look at RedStarOS from North Korea. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video. Of course, a couple of failed starts at the start, but it's trial and error. But there you go. You know how to do it yourself. Of course, do it in a VM, not connected to a network. Use with caution. I suppose the thanks for Red Star goes to the leader of North Korea, I guess. And I suppose we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching.